In this episode of Psychology Talk Therapy, we're going to uncover something you probably feel but have never said out loud: why you struggle to say what you feel, even to yourself. Have you ever sat alone at night, staring at the ceiling, and you just feel something? But you don't know what it is. It's not exactly sadness. Not quite anger. Not really anxiety. But something is brewing inside. Something that weighs you down. And when someone asks, "What's wrong?" you say, "I don't know." You genuinely don't know. That moment, right there, is the heart of today's episode. The struggle to express what we feel. The strange silence we carry inside, even when our hearts are screaming. This silence isn't just about being shy. It's not about lacking words. It's deeper. Psychological. Emotional. And often, it's historical. Let me explain. Many of us grew up in environments where emotions weren't safe. Maybe you were told not to cry because it made you weak. Maybe your feelings were dismissed as overreacting. Maybe you got punished for showing anger. Or worse, ignored when you were in pain. So what did you learn? You learned to disconnect from your emotions. You learned that speaking up was dangerous. That feeling too much would only lead to rejection, conflict, or shame. So, you stopped naming what you felt. You stopped noticing it. And eventually, you stopped feeling it altogether. But emotions don't go away just because we ignore them. They go underground. And they wait. They show up in other ways. In body aches. In mood swings. In that heavy tiredness that doesn't go away even after sleep. They show up in the way you scroll endlessly, distract yourself, avoid people, lash out, or completely shut down. You think you're fine. You say you're just tired. But deep down, something is stuck. Unspoken. Unfelt. Unloved. This is what it means to struggle to say what you feel, even to yourself. Let's take a moment here. Breathe. Gently. And ask yourself. When was the last time I asked myself what I was truly feeling? Not what I should feel. Not what I'm expected to feel. But what I actually feel, under the noise. Most of us don't do this. Because it's scary. It's vulnerable. And let's be honest, we don't always know how. We're not taught to name our inner world. In school, we learn math, grammar, science, but no one teaches us emotional literacy. No one shows us how to sit with sadness. How to hold space for confusion. How to acknowledge guilt without drowning in it. So we avoid. We stay busy. We stay strong. We stay numb. But numbness is not peace. Silence is not healing. And avoidance is not growth. Let's look deeper. Sometimes, the reason we struggle to say what we feel is because we don't believe our feelings are valid. Have you ever thought, "I shouldn't be upset, others have it worse"? Or, "It's not a big deal, why am I making it one?" That's emotional invalidation. And it's a habit that begins in childhood. Maybe your parents loved you, but they didn't know how to hold space for your feelings. Maybe you were told to be grateful when you were hurt. Maybe you were called too sensitive every time you cried. So now, even as an adult, you silence yourself before you even speak. You feel something rise, but before you let it out, your inner critic jumps in and says, "Don't be dramatic. Don't be selfish. Don't burden people." So, you swallow it. And when you do that every day, for years, your emotional voice gets weaker. It fades. It stutters. It stops trusting itself. Until one day, you sit with yourself and realize, "I don't even know what I feel anymore." It's like emotional amnesia. Let's pause and think about something. What if I told you, you're not broken? You're just blocked. What you're experiencing is not failure. It's protection. Your inability to express your emotions is a defense mechanism. One that your brain built to survive. Think about it, your brain is always trying to protect you. And if expressing emotions in the past led to pain, your brain learned, let's not do that again. It's not betrayal. It's biology. But here's the truth, what protected you in the past, might be hurting you now. The silence that once kept you safe is now keeping you stuck. So how do we unstick ourselves? How do we start expressing what we feel, even when it's scary? Step 1, we start by listening. Not to others, but to ourselves. Create a space, even just 5 minutes a day, where you check in with yourself. Sit with a journal. No pressure. No expectations. Just write, what am I feeling right now, and see what comes up. Even if the answer is, I don't know, write that. Because that's still truth. That's still a beginning. Step 2, name your emotions. Use real words. Go beyond fine or bad. Are you feeling disappointed? Anxious? Overwhelmed? Guilty? Lonely? The more specific you are, the more power you give yourself. There's a saying in psychology, name it to tame it. When we name an emotion, we take it out of the shadows. We make it visible. And what's visible can be healed. Step 3, create safety. Emotional expression needs safety. If you've been in environments where your feelings were rejected, start by giving yourself a new environment, even if it's just in your own room, in your own mind. Tell yourself, my feelings are allowed. All of them. Even the ugly ones. Even the confusing ones. And repeat that until it feels real. Step 4, speak with people who can hold space. Find friends. A therapist. A journal. A voice note on your phone. Anything that helps you externalize what's inside. Sometimes, just hearing your own voice speak the truth out loud is enough to unlock something powerful inside. Step 5, be patient. You've spent years silencing yourself. You won't unravel all of it in a day. But you can start today. And every time you choose honesty over avoidance, connection over fear, softness over numbness, you take one step closer to emotional freedom. Let me share a truth with you. Most people are not afraid of feelings. They're afraid of the consequences of those feelings. You're not afraid to admit you're sad, you're afraid it will make you look weak. You're not afraid to say you're angry, you're afraid it will ruin relationships. You're not afraid of love, you're afraid of heartbreak. So you hold it all in. Because silence feels safer than risk. But the longer you hold in what you feel, the more your body begins to carry it. The more your relationships suffer. The more your joy dims. Eventually, you start living a half-life. Functioning, but not fully feeling. Existing, but not fully living. That's why this work matters. Emotional expression is not just about being honest. It's about being whole. When you learn to say what you feel, even just to yourself, you reclaim your power. You stop abandoning yourself. You stop pretending. You stop living someone else's version of life. And in that space, you begin to feel lighter. Braver. Real. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you cried without apologizing for it? When was the last time you told someone, I'm not okay, and let them see you? When was the last time you looked in the mirror and said, I feel, ________? If the answer is, I don't remember, that's okay. But let it also be a sign. A sign that it's time to come home to yourself. To your emotions. To your truth. To the voice inside you that's been waiting to be heard. You don't have to explain it perfectly. You don't have to be poetic. You just have to be honest. Say what you feel. Even if it's messy. Even if it's late. Even if your voice shakes. Because your feelings are not the problem. Silencing them is. As we close this episode, I want you to remember. You are allowed to feel deeply. You are allowed to speak gently. You are allowed to be unsure, to stutter, to cry, to say, I don't know what I'm feeling, but I want to understand. That is not weakness. That is healing. Thank you for being here with me. For listening. For reflecting. For choosing to turn inward, instead of away. This is Psychology Talk Therapy. And I'll see you in the next episode.